what's going on. And writer strike and actor strike, first time in a long time. They're both striking at the same time. We got Comic-Con on the way, which I'll be there. Hollywood Reporter writes, with double strike, Comic-Con goes back to the basics, doom departing. The latest on who in Hollywood is skipping the trip to San Diego this July, and what pivots are being made with actors and writers away from the cosplaying fray on picket lines. Yeah, so obviously comic conferences have changed a lot, definitely with the rise of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They are not as comic book focused as much, hardly at all, to be completely honest. They're more very Hollywood oriented, and they keep, and smaller ones are still very writers and comics, artists in comics, production in comics and in that sphere. They still are on that, but as far as like the biggest one in San Diego Comic-Con, obviously that pivoted. And there's a lot of folks that probably have never read, and that includes the attendees, read a comic book in their life that are often at these events like this. It wasn't always like that, but it certainly is now, which is why some people are like, well, maybe it's more beneficial and maybe it'll be tolerable to be a comic book fan and go there. This week, they announced that the actors will be joining the Writers Guild on picket lines as Hollywood faces yet another shutdown amid a historic, double strike. Already most Hollywood majors, including Disney, Warner Bros., Sony, Universal, Netflix, and HBO, chose to sit out the Comic-Con this year. With actors now confirmed to be out for the count, the convention's lineup takes another hit with a slew of previously announced panels now canceled. This has Dune there, Wheel of Time, Abbott. What the hell does Abbott Elementary have to do with Comic-Con? You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, well, we know what it has to do. It's more of a rhetorical question, but you see what it is that I'm saying, right? That's a show that I'm not saying it's a terrible show. I don't watch it. Just Comic-Con, right? It's a little weird there. This year's also the first time since 2011 that at least one of the two biggest comic to film franchises, Marvel and DC, won't be holding court in a 6,500 capacity Hall H. This is an unusual year, says Comic-Con spokesperson, but that hasn't diminished the anticipation for Comic-Con. Badges sold out months ahead, they always do. While Hall H stops for Marvel or DC have generated the biggest headlines, only a small portion of the estimated 150,000 attendees each year ever set foot in the space, which requires camping out in line overnight to get inside. In other words, plenty of the faithful go for smaller panels and a show to show off their best cosplay. Yeah, and a chance to show off their best cosplay. Yeah, I don't think that people are gonna not go because they're not there. I don't think that's there may be some, but I think for the most part they'll be fine. Some major presentations will continue on without actors, which includes this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, that's the new one? The one that they were talking about? Oh, that's sus. Oh, man, that was so corny. Triple R, we have some of the directors. Oh, yeah, they're not striking. So, yeah, some of these guys there'll be some Hollywood representation. It just won't be in the form of writers and actors. On the TV side panel still on the docket, AMC's Walking Dead franchise, which at least has something to do with comics, Star Trek, that's nerd culture, presentation. So there'll be some, are there panels? Yeah, there are panels, okay. Wonder who's speaking on them. So yeah, there's still going to be some representation. It's not going to be completely axed of Hollywood at all. And I did see that there are some comic guys, they were kind of hyping up again, the McFarlane being there, because they have to lean on these comic guys for sure, which is kind of what the conference should have always been around. I'm not saying that comic conferences should have never, maybe I kind of am, but not really. I expect other things that are part of at least the nerd culture, geek culture sphere, whatever you want to call it, that would be a part of it. But yeah, as of recently, it completely got overtook by just being a showcase for Hollywood and a lot of normies to show off their cosplays, because there was a rise in popularity in those brands, and it deviated kind of away from a comic focus. And That's good for them, I do think. And it's also good for the industry of comics. I'm not saying it's good for Hollywood. No, it's probably not. It's probably not good for them because this is how they generate enthusiasm. So I fully admit that. But for the actual industry, which has an enthusiasm problem right now, getting back to the basics and utilizing the cons to do that will be very beneficial to them if it is what it is they're doing, because yeah, it's still going to be very Hollywood centric. Hollywood isn't completely removed from the equation. But there, you have people, and I've had these conversations with people that used to go to cons all the time, and they don't really like them anymore because of the Hollywood aspect. It's like, this isn't even about comics anymore, so it's not like the environment it is that they signed up for, if you will. So maybe this will get those guys back there, meeting some of their favorite artists, seeing people speak about future projects. It's what the industry needs. It certainly is what the industry needs going forward. So, I don't care about the actors or the writers or the freaking studios by any means. I've made that abundantly clear. This doesn't benefit me in any sort of way. This is a perpetuated class struggle among elites, stupid unions that shouldn't even be a thing, because a lot of them are too chicken shit to go create. They want everybody else to take the risk. Even though there's a great opportunity, especially for the rich actors that are part of these stupid unions, to step out, have their own studios funding these projects themselves, and being able to pay people what it is that they want to pay. And maybe these idiots that are in the studios that are in control of these properties are forced to sell them off to people that actually give a damn about them. This is why I say that the strike may be the best thing that happens to entertainment industries. And the longer it takes place, the more these fools are going to realize they're not really needed. Not anymore. People have replaced them with other forms of entertainment. You got people like myself don't even watch TV or movies like that anymore. So they're watching streamers, doing all that. So there's, longer this goes on, whatever, they'll make a deal at some point, because they're a match made in hell. They need each other. But it benefits the customers the most, and it benefits people that are longtime fans of this material the most. If really it just, Hollywood in general kind of just crashes and burns. This is them trying to get sympathy because they want people to support their causes, which is hilarious because they're trying to universalize this. Any idiot who's saying, well, the writers, they need more money, and the actors need more money. This actually benefits you. Anybody saying that is a compulsive liar. I don't benefit at all from this. So let them strike, let them fight. Really ain't got nothing to do with us. Because even if it crashes and burns, may something else rise from the ashes, something more decentralized, of course. Maybe smaller studios. You're going to have to go maybe with smaller budgets, and y'all can start paying people comparable to what you feel is competitive and what you feel they're deserving. It's a problem that you can correct yourself, but you notice these guys often don't ever want to go that route. It's always, hey, mega corporation, you should be doing this for us. Hilarious.